So here's the KB that I'm going to install. This is the patch 3021910, and these are the issues that it fixed. If you go up right here, it'll show you that what operating system, and my operating system is Windows Server 2012 R2 right here. This is where I downloaded this patch. So what I want is none of my replica has patch, or node I should say, that has that patch. What I want to do is install this patch so that these issues in my nodes will be fixed. So let's go ahead and let me show you quickly the failover. Right here are my nodes that is involved in this architecture: TBS client, TBS node 1, TBS node 2, and TBS SQL. So TBS node 1 and TBS node 2, these two nodes are in Charlotte, and they are primary site for my availability group, and TBS client and TBS SQL is the secondary for my availability group. And let me show you my availability group right here. This is TBS SQL clustered right now. It's primary. Let's go ahead and take a look. This is the primary for my availability group, and here are the replicas, these two replicas. So I'm using, even though I have more SQL Server instance installed on those nodes, but I am using one SQL Server instance that's installed in Charlotte, and set up the AG between that SQL Server instance and another instance that is installed on New York site, and that is where my AG is set up. So New York site is my secondary right here. Let me show you real quick. This is secondary. So everything is online at this moment. So the first thing we want to do is move everything from TBS SQL right here to TBS client, because that is my active node in New York, and that is my passive node in New York. So what I want to do is I'm sorry, it's the other way around. What I want to do is move everything from TBS client to TBS SQL, and then after that I'll be taking a look on the installation. So let's go ahead and look at the roles. Anything that is on TBS client will be moving it to TBS SQL. So let's go ahead and move this to TBS SQL. As I said, that when you move the SQL Server resources or SQL Server instance from one node to another, your AG group will go down, and then it should come online on its own. As you can see that right now it's moving. We don't have anything else on TBS client, so our TBS client should be able, should be free for us to do the installation, or patching, I should say. Alright, everything came online. Now we're going to go ahead and check our availability group, that how it behaved, if it's still online. And keep in mind that in cluster environment you need to keep checking your availability group if it is still online. And if you don't, if you take a look, let me refresh this. Let me refresh this one. Since it is cluster environment, let me go ahead and refresh my connections right here, and see that if everything working as far as my secondary site of my availability group. So I'm going to refresh both. Alright, availability group is online. Let's go ahead, and it's still primary. My Charlotte instances are still primary, and New York is still secondary. Let's go ahead and take a look on here. Everything seems to be online and working fine. Now the TBS client is ready for us to go ahead and patch. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. I am basically in TBS client. So let me go. As I said, that I have already copied the patch file right here in C. Right here is my KB that I wanted to update. So I wanted to install. This is the update. So I'm going to go ahead and right click and open and install. This is really quick, and it's asking me whether I wanted to install this standalone Windows software update. So I want to say yes. This update I'm using just for the demo. You might have a very complicated update, but this is really a small update, and it doesn't take long. As you can see that it says the installation is completed, so our TBS client is patched up, which is passive in New York. Again, we're still working on the secondary site. Let's close this. And next thing that we want to do is, by the way, this update does not require restart of SQL Server. I just did it because I wanted to do this demo without interruption. So let's go ahead and main thing is to show you the process. So I'm gonna go ahead and open Failover cluster. Alright, right here we want to move, since my AG group is set up this, we want to move New York SQL prod, and everything that is on TBS SQL we want to move it to New York TBS client, which is we just updated. So let's go ahead and move everything over there, which is right here. This is the node that we just updated. I don't have many resources on these two servers, so it's going to take a little bit time to fail over. Alright, everything is moved to TBS client, which is already patched. So let's take a look. Let's go back to SQL Server Management Studio and see if our availability group right here is still working fine. Keep in mind that you have to do it every time you do that, because you want to catch if something goes wrong with your after you patched. So I'm gonna go and open up SQL Server Management Studio. Alright, let's go ahead and connect with primary site, and then let's go ahead and connect with secondary replica. Alright, let's see availability group if everything is online. So far everything looks good. The database is online too. Let's take a look on the primary replica. Everything looks fine, so it didn't impact our availability group. So we're gonna go ahead, and since TBS SQL, our second node in our secondary site, is available for us to update, I'm gonna go ahead and update that, and process will remain the same. And then we're gonna go ahead and basically move everything to TBS SQL and see if everything works. This is TBS SQL. And take a look on the roles and move everything to TBS SQL. Move everything to TBS SQL and make sure everything works. Alright, everything is online, so let's go ahead and minimize this and look at in our management studio. Let's refresh our connections. Let's take a look on our availability group if everything is working fine. This is still primary, that is good news. Database is still online. Let's go and take a look on the secondary side. This is secondary, that's good, it's online. And database is online too. So we just completed the secondary replicas in this particular environment that I was showing you. Let me right here. This site is completely patched, and our availability group is online. Our next target is we're gonna go and fail over for availability group from Charlotte to New York and make New York our primary for availability group, and then repeat the same process on our Charlotte side and patch these two servers up as well.